What if one of the greatest secrets in human history has been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years, and we dismissed it as nothing more than a myth? What if a small passage in the Bible is actually pointing toward something the world was never meant to fully understand? Today, we're talking about the Nephilim, mysterious beings. Some describe them as giants. Others believe they were the offspring of fallen angels, and some scholars say they were only symbolic figures. But no matter which theory you believe, one thing is certain: the mystery of the Nephilim still fascinates the world, even today. In the book of Genesis, just before the story of Noah's flood begins, there is a strange, unsettling passage. It says that the sons of God came to earth and took human women as their wives, and the children born from those unions were called the Nephilim. They were described as mighty men, famous men, beings who were different from ordinary humans. And that single passage became the beginning of centuries of debate. Who exactly were the sons of God? Some religious scholars believe they were fallen angels, angels who rebelled against heaven and descended to earth. According to this theory, these supernatural beings had children with human women, and those children became the Nephilim. If this theory is true, then the Nephilim were not completely human. They were part human and part supernatural, and maybe that explains why ancient texts describe them as beings of unusual strength and enormous size, giants. But not everyone agrees. Many scholars believe the story is symbolic. They argue that the sons of God were powerful rulers or members of a special bloodline. According to them, the Nephilim were not monsters, but violent warriors, feared because of their power and influence. But if that's true, why does the Bible separate them from ordinary humans? Even the word Nephilim itself remains mysterious. It is often translated as giants, but some experts believe the word comes from an ancient Hebrew term meaning the fallen ones. And if that interpretation is correct, then the connection to fallen angels becomes even more disturbing. But here's where the mystery becomes stranger. Stories about giant beings do not appear only in the Bible. Ancient Greece spoke of the Titans. Norse legends described giants. Even ancient traditions from India tell stories of enormous, powerful beings, far larger than ordinary humans. Civilizations separated by oceans, by languages, by centuries, yet all of them share stories about giants. Why? Is it coincidence? Or are these stories echoes of a forgotten past? And then comes Noah's flood. According to the Bible, the flood destroyed the world and wiped out nearly all life. But later, in the Book of Numbers, explorers describe seeing enormous people once again. They even said, "We felt like grasshoppers in comparison." So if the flood destroyed everything, how did giant beings appear again? That question has led to countless theories. Some believe the Nephilim somehow survived the flood. Others think the same supernatural event happened again. And that leads us to another mysterious ancient text, the Book of Enoch. According to this text, a group of angels known as the Watchers descended to earth. But they did not come peacefully. They shared forbidden knowledge. They taught humans how to create weapons, magic, and secrets mankind was never supposed to possess. And as time passed, the world became filled with violence and chaos. According to the story, this corruption became one of the reasons God sent the Great Flood to cleanse the earth. Even today, stories about the Nephilim continue to spread. People share images claiming to show giant skeletons. Most of those claims have been proven fake, but the fascination never disappears, because human beings are naturally drawn toward mysteries. that have no clear answers. Some believe the story of the Nephilim serves as a warning that when humanity crosses certain boundaries, destruction follows. So if the Nephilim truly existed, who were they? Where did they come from? And what happened to them? To this day, there are no clear answers, and maybe that is exactly why the mystery refuses to disappear. Because the more people study the Nephilim, the more questions appear. Perhaps some mysteries were never meant to be solved. The Nephilim remain one of the most controversial and mysterious subjects connected to the Bible. But whatever the truth may be, one thing is clear: the story of the Nephilim reveals humanity's endless fascination with mysteries that refuse to die.